is free for our partners and also for their customers. It's a monitoring tool that they download on their PC that allows them to track the Xerox and non-Xerox devices that they have on their network. We currently have a mix of Xerox and non-Xerox devices. We've got 68 Xerox devices and 104 non-Xerox devices. The brands are Xerox, of course. We've got Brother, HP, Lexmark, and Samsung are also on the program. And what it does is it notifies the customers when their supply levels are low and then it's time for replenishment. And then it sends them a link that allows them to go and purchase the supply items that they need. And an added benefit for the end users is if they are on the program and purchase all of their supplies through the program, they are offered free service for all of their Xerox devices. So that's one of the key things that we call out when we're talking about the program, is it's a way for customers to not only manage their supplies replenishment, but also earn free service for all of their Xerox devices for the life of those devices. So I want to talk about what the program is for Xerox. It's a program that evolves based off partner and customer feedback. So we did a lot of research on what is it that the customers want, what is it that our partners want when it comes to supplies replenishment. And from the partner standpoint, they wanted a way to, of course, capture that post-sale revenue. You know, they go through all the work of placing that device, and they wanted an easy way to capture the post-sale. And for the customers, they want a way to make sure that they have the supplies that they need when they need it without running out of those supplies and without putting a lot of time and effort into managing that. So for Xerox, this program is one of our key customer loyalty and retention programs. If you have some customers, they have the customers out there who aren't quite ready to sign up for NPS and get on a contract. This is a great alternative to an NPS program, and it's very low maintenance and easy to use for both the partners that are attached to it and also their customers. So I'm going to talk through some of the benefits of the program. So for the resellers out there, it's easy revenue generation. So the way it's set up is the partners will open up a store. We have an eConcierge store where they will run their business. It's got their brand on it. It's powered by Xerox, but the partners are able to open up a store with their brand, and they tie that store to all of their customers. So it's a way that they guarantee that whenever their customers are placing a supply order, that it's filtered through their store and they're capturing that revenue. As I mentioned, the customers get free lifetime service by being a part of the program. So that enables the partners to go out and sell more Xerox devices by letting the customers know, hey, we got Xerox devices that you can purchase from us, and you'll get free service provided you get on this program. So we're seeing an increase of Xerox devices being sold. It also allows the partners to expand their reach. So as I mentioned, we've got
Privileges program, our recycling program, and
as I mentioned, we've got several non-Xerox brands that are attached to the program. So we offer XRCs, so Xerox replacement cartridges, which are sold at a lower price than OEM supplies. So they can expand their reach by offering their customers lower price supplies for those products. They can expand their customer loyalty. So the partners are now able to offer this free service of supply replenishment and the free service of their devices, and so we're hoping that the customers are attached to that partner as a result. And then for the partners, they're able to eliminate the costly inventory. So the way the program is designed, the customers purchase the supplies through the partner store. However, the order is directly fulfilled through the distributor, so you guys will be sending out the order directly to the customer. So the partner no longer has to purchase those supplies from you and move them into their own personal warehouse. We've got some partners out there that are storing their own supplies. So the way the program is set up is they no longer have to do that. They're not managing any inventory. It's going directly from you to their customers. When you look at the end user, what their customers will benefit. So as I mentioned, it's a supplies replenishment service, so it automatically notifies their customers when they need to purchase new supply items. They don't run out of supplies because you have a system that's monitoring that for them. And then also, just by being on the program, they earn that free service for all of their Xerox devices. So I want to look at what are our ideal partners for the program and then the customer base. It's pretty simple. We want anyone who sells A4 supplies and hardware, dedicated to their providing great customer service, and then also looking for ways to generate that post-sale revenue. You know, we found that a lot of partners do struggle to capture that post-sale revenue, so if they're looking for ways to expand their reach and also improve their post-sale generation, this is a great service for them. For the customers, we're looking at small to medium business owners. They cannot be attached to an MPS program, so if they aren't on a contract and are available to use the service, we reach out to those customers. And then also if they're looking for a way to manage their supplies replenishment business without putting a lot of time and effort into it, this is a great service for them. I often hear that this is kind of a no-brainer. It's very easy. It's no cost to any party involved. So really we open it up to any and everyone, provided that they're not on an MPS contract. So I wanted to talk through what is required for the partners to participate on the program. So we do have a well-defined onboarding process and steps that they need to go through to get their store set up. So the first thing is the partners need to go and register for the program through our partner portal. And we're going to be sending out these slides so you can have access to all the links and provide that content to the partners. But they would just go to the Xerox partner portal website, and there's an eConcierge page where they can go and register for the program. And then once they're registered, they will receive an email that gives them a list of everything else that they need to do to get their store set up. A part of that is setting up their merchant account. So when they're running their stores, they have two different ways for their customers to process their orders. You can either offer credit card terms where the customers pay with a credit card, or they can be on open account terms. So we have some partners out there that have open accounts where their customers are purchasing through POs. So if they have customers that are set up that way, they're able to use the program as well. I like to mention, this comes up a lot and you may get questions from some of the resellers. If they have to open up this credit card account, if they choose to not process orders using credit cards, they do not have to open up a merchant account. I call that out because there are some fees attached to that. These are typical fees that are required to purchase, to run an e-commerce business. So there is a monthly fee for the merchant account, and then they do pay the bank a percentage of all the transactions that are used with credit cards. So if you got some folks out there who do not want to use that, they don't have to do this step. They just set up the open account terms with their customers, and then they're free to go. So once they get through that hurdle, the next one is making sure that they have distributor credentials. So we've got 5 different distributors that are a part of the program. And in order for a partner to open up a store, they must have identified 2 distributors that they would like to work with. And we have a process where the partner will request that information through Xerox, and then we'll work with you to create those credentials. We've already tested that out, and that works very well. So once the partners have their credentials set up, they then will get a call or email from our support team that'll go through. It's about an hour. It takes about an hour worth of time to go through and actually set up their store. So we've got a dedicated eConcierge support team, and they'll work with the partners throughout the whole process to make sure they have all the content that they need to get their store open. And then once they have it, they will set up the store for them. So it's a remote access where they go in and create the store and do all the settings that the partner requests. One important thing that I do want to call out is for any of your partners to be a part of the eConcierge program, they must be registered in Xerox's Global Partner Program. So I added that content down here, and if you are working with anyone who is not currently a Xerox partner, if they click on the link that's on this page where it says here, right down here, it'll lead them to our website where they can go in and get information about becoming registered in Xerox's partner program. So in order for anyone to be a part of eConcierge, they do have to be a part of the Xerox Global Partner Program.
Hey, Natasha, this is Mark. A quick question for you. So if the partner is not registered with any other distribution partner, only Digitek, do they still have to list a second partner, or can they just go ahead and just list Digitek and move on?
We have to have two
So even
partners.
if they're not registered with another partner, can they just select, or they then have to go open up an account with another partner?
Yes, they have to go open up an account with another distributor.
Okay, so if they selected somebody else that didn't have an account, it would get pushed back.
No, so we've got processes in place with all the distributors, and even with Digitek, where if we have a partner that requests to use them as one of their preferred distributors and they do not have an account, they are directed to go and set up an account. So it will take a little bit longer to open up their store, but there are processes in place to handle those partners that come in and need to get an account set up.
Okay, perfect.
Any other questions on the partner onboarding process? The other thing I do want to call out is when the partner opens their store and selects their two distributors, they are required to log into those distributors for 12 months. So once they select Digitek and open up their store, they will be linked to Digitek for the first 12 months that they are on the program, and then after the year that they're on, they are free to then switch around if desired. So they are locked in for the first year that they are on the program. So once the partners go through the whole onboarding and open up their store, we have a e-commerce partner portal available for the partners, and this is what they will use to manage their eConcierge business. It's online, so they're able to access this anywhere. They'll get their login information. And a part of this portal, they've got a way to check out all of the revenue that they're generating. So it'll list out how many customers they have on the program and how many sales or revenue. So it just gives them a kind of a dashboard of their total business. They have the ability to go in and customize what their store looks like for their customers. They can look at order alerts. So this right here, this section here, lets them know if a customer has placed an order and it's on hold and it needs action. It gives the partners the alert to go in and resolve these issues. They can look at their customer accounts. They can see who set up, the business that they're generating. We also have a way for the partners to look at all of the devices that they have attached to the store and to look at their warranty and to see which devices have earned the warranty, which ones haven't. I may not have mentioned this earlier, but before they get the warranty, the device has to be on the program for 30 days, and they have to purchase 2 supply items for that device. So once those 2 actions take place, then that customer earns the warranty for that device. So in their portal, the partner can look in and see where their devices are for each of their customers. And then we also have a bunch of reports that we've created to help them manage their business, looking at the sales, the devices, and the customers they have on the program.
So, Natasha, quick question. So if the customer doesn't buy in a set period of time, do they fall off and lose their warranty?
No, so there's no set limit of time that the customer has to purchase a supply. The time frame is only tied to them being on the program. So what we are trying to avoid is a customer to have a device that's broken. They know, oh, I can go to eConcierge to get that free service, so let me sign up for it. You know, it's kind of like when you get your cell phone and you get the coverage. They make you have that coverage, have the device and sign up for that coverage for 30 days before you get that free service. So that's what we're trying to do here. If it takes a customer a year to purchase that first supply item, then it takes them a year, but they still don't get that service until they purchase 2 supply items.
Okay, so say they go like 120 days without buying another toner, they're still covered that 120 days because they already bought the initial 2 toners.
Right.
With 30 days.
So if you have a customer, and we found that some customers, just to go ahead and meet the requirement, as soon as they sign up, they'll purchase their 2 supply items, and then after the 30 days, then they have that free coverage. If it takes them a year before they purchase a new supply item, then they're still covered. It doesn't matter. They've already met the requirement of being on the program for 30 days and purchasing those 2 supply items.
Fantastic. So they don't get kicked off the program for inactivity. Okay, great.
The only time a customer will get kicked off the program, and it's not kicked off the program, they'll just lose the service for a device, is if the program notices that they have installed a supply item that was not purchased through eConcierge.
Oh,
So,
good to know. Okay.
right. The system is monitoring when the supply level is low and when a new supply item is installed into the device. So we know when you're purchasing and we know when you need a new supply item. So if we notice that you've installed a supply item that was not purchased through eConcierge, you will get a notification that you are in jeopardy of losing the service.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got one question. You had mentioned that a partner has to select 2 distributors, and those 2 are locked in for the 12-month period. During that 12-month period, can the dealer change the rankings of those 2 distributors? In other words, if Digitek is currently their number 2, and some point in the next 6 months, Digitek becomes their number 1, can they go to you guys and say, I want Digitek to be number 1 and the other distributor to fall to number 2?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we can make those changes. So now I want to talk about for the end user requirements and what that process would look like. So once the partner opens up their store, they will have the ability to go in and open up a customer account. So if they have customers out there that they already know that they want to be a part of the program, they can go in and create an eConcierge account through their partner portal, and then it'll send a notification off to their end user asking them to complete the registration process. The customers will have to download our monitoring application. So it's an app that they download. It's called the Supplies Assistant. That Supplies Assistant is going to be running in the background on their PC. That's what we use to track the devices that are on their network. It's used to add devices and remove devices, and it sends it up to our database to let us know when supplies are being used, when they're not being used, and when they're making purchases. So that's how we manage our warranty to make sure that the program, that the customers are staying on the program and purchasing through the program only. So once they download that application, it goes out and it searches all the devices that they have on their network. The customer can pick and choose which devices they want on the program. It doesn't have to use all of the devices. We encourage it, but if there are some devices that they do not want to be a part of eConcierge, they can deselect those and not have them on the program. So that's when the monitoring process begins. The customers will get a notification when they need to make a purchase, and it'll send them to a pre-populated shopping cart that is housed in the partner's store, and then they purchase supplies and keep going. The main requirement that I want to call out, and we kind of touched on this a little while ago, is that the customers can only install supplies that are purchased through eConcierge to remain in good standing and maintain that free warranty. So if the program notices that the customer has installed a supply item that was not purchased through eConcierge, they will be notified that they are at risk of losing their warranty. So this right here is a little snapshot of what the Supplies Assistant looks like. It's a pretty straightforward application. It looks at all of the devices that they have on the network, and it kind of gives them a view of, is the toner low or is it in good standing? You know, do they need to make a purchase? Have they placed an order? And is the order on its way? So this application is downloaded, and quite frankly, when the customers download it and find the devices, they no longer have to really use that application unless they want to go in and add additional devices or remove devices. After they have discovered all their devices, the main interface for the end user is going to be through the eConcierge customer portal. This is similar to what I showed for the partners. It's online. They're able to access it anywhere. They can manage their account. They can add different users onto their account. They can shop through the customer portal. They can look at all the devices that they have on the program and then also review all of their warranty status. So it's just an account where they can go and manage all the settings to their experience and then look at all the devices and the statuses for those devices. So I wanted to talk through what the order process looks like. So they've got the eConcierge running and monitoring their devices. When the supply level is low, the customer will receive an email alerting them that they need to make a purchase. They click on the link in that email, and it sends them to their reseller store. They'll go in and place the order. The order is then sent through our eConcierge server here at Xerox and passed over to the distributor, and then the distributor will place the order and send it directly to the customer. So when I mentioned before, it's very low maintenance. Once the reseller opens up their store and connects their customers to their store, they really don't have to do anything other than make sure they're going out and add more customers, because the customers will place their orders without having to deal with the reseller. It'll just go directly to their store and then send it to the distributor, and then you guys will fulfill that order. From the revenue side of things, as I mentioned, there's two ways for customers to purchase their orders. If customers are using the credit card, as soon as they place their order, the reseller immediately gets payment. If they are on the open terms, after the order is placed, the reseller will have to invoice their customer for payment. And then regardless of the relationship between the reseller and the customer, the reseller and the distributor will work on their existing terms. So however you all have payment terms set up with the reseller, they'll be expected to pay on those same terms. So I bring this up a lot just to give partners an idea of what's worked out there. So this is based off feedback that we got from partners currently on the program. And these are just best practices that they use to help sell eConcierge to their customers. So as you're talking and trying to recruit additional resellers onto the program, it's good to mention some of these tips. The one I'd highlight is install the supplies assistant and actually demo eConcierge when they're doing a printer install. That way they walk away knowing that those customers are already signed up when they leave and that they are tied to their store, so that any post-sale that they need for that device is going directly to them. Another thing is solidifying the customer relationship. I mentioned that the partners can create their customer account through the portal. The customers also can be sent a link to create their own account. That's nice, but we always recommend that the partners take the effort and set up that account, because that guarantees that they are tied to their store. If we leave it up to the customers to go up and create their own accounts, it doesn't guarantee that they're going to link their purchases to that provider. So if they set it up themselves, they guarantee that revenue. And then lastly, it's important to mention that this is not just for Xerox devices, that the program also supports non-Xerox devices. While the service is not attached to the non-Xerox devices, they can still monitor and purchase supplies for those non-Xerox devices. We have, Xerox has put together a very nice package of marketing collaterals that can be used to help market the eConcierge business. It can be co-branded, so the partners are able to go in and put their brand and put their own messaging at the end of some of the collaterals. So we encourage, and we actually do a lot of trainings, webinars for partners to go into a little bit more detail on how to take advantage of those marketing tools. So we've got emails, we've got presentations, we've got videos, and then also brochures that can be used. What I want to do is show you all a quick video that we have showing, demoing really eConcierge and what that program looks like. So bear with me as I get that set up. So.
Okay, the last thing I want to worry about is buying toner for our printers. But it's up to me to make sure we don't run out and everyone in the office can print when they need to. Now my job is easier, thanks to this new free service, Xerox eConcierge. It monitors all the printers on my network, tells me before supplies run out, and lets me order new ones in just a few clicks. It even picks the right cartridges for each printer model, no matter what the brand, so I don't need to worry about confusing part numbers. And on top of being easier, I get rewards just for buying my supplies. Oh, and hey, this is really fun. I can give my printers nicknames that show up on alerts or when I track my orders. So it's a lot easier for me to remember where all the supplies go. But let's talk about, what really matters. Who's going to make sure things don't break down when I leave on my vacation? Turns out, it's not a problem. Even though I run the service from my desktop, the information is stored in the cloud, so really anyone in the company can install it and keep things running smoothly. And because it's from Xerox, I know, and more importantly, my bosses know, that everything is secure. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time, and you won't find an easier way to take care of your printers. Give it a try. There's no commitment. Just see if you like having your own personal supplies assistant.
So that there is a sample of some of the videos that we have. We've got 4 videos that go into a little bit more detail on, this one is on how you order supplies, some of the features of the program, and then gives information on how customers actually earn their free service rewards. So when I send this presentation out, you'll be able to click on each of the videos. They're pretty short, just to get a better idea of how the program works, and then you can sell that with your resellers as you're talking to them about the program. I want to talk about some eConcierge incentives that we currently have in place. The first one I'll talk about is for you all. So we're giving $25 Visa cards for every partner that you recruit to open an eConcierge store. So once you've identified some partners that are interested in the program, we'll be monitoring their onboarding process and make sure that they get their store opened. And so we'll be offering this from September 10th through the 30th. September 10th is when we plan on having our webinar with the partners. So we'll go through and explain to them what the program is about, the benefits, and how they get signed up. And then once you get your partner signed up on the program, then you'll earn the $25 gift card. And that's for every partner that you get to join eConcierge. We've also got some incentives for the partners that are on the program. The first one is around spiffs. So we've got spiffs tied to several products. So these are products that we're currently spiffing. So if they're selling devices, once they sell them and then get them on signed up for eConcierge, then they get a $25 spiff for each device. The spiffs change every quarter. So I've highlighted here what we have in place currently for Q3. This link here will allow the partners to go in and see as we get to Q4, that'll be updated in this link. So this always gives you the current information. But just right here, this lets you know what we currently have for the spiffs for this quarter. And then the other incentive we have is a 4% back-end rebate for all of our Xerox Gold and Platinum level partners. So what this means is if they get a new device added onto eConcierge, for the first 12 months of that device is on the program, every supply item that they purchase, they'll get a 4% rebate for that supply item. So all the revenue that they generate for that device, they
Make sure they're all in there.
They'll get that 4% rebate. So these are the 2 incentives we currently have in place for the partners, and this is what we have for the Digitek sales team. And then once again, highlighting that in order for the partners to be on the program, they have to be a Xerox partner. The last thing I want to mention is that we do have a dedicated eConcierge support team. So if you have questions that you need answered around the program, if your partners or if their customers have questions, we have a dedicated team that can be reached. We have a call center, and then we also have a support email. They answer questions tied to getting the store set up. Even once the store is set up, if we have partners out there that are struggling to use it or need clarification, they're able to answer those questions. They provide software support for the customers and the partners. And then if there are any other technical issues, this team is able to support them. And that is all I have to share with you all. So at this time, I'd like to open it up for any questions you may have.
I have a quick question for you. So, I'm sorry, you said that if they have non-Xerox devices, especially HP, Lexmark, and Brother, they can use those. Are those the only brands, or are there like is it any brand they can add?
So currently we have HP, Lexmark, Brother, and Samsung are the only other brands that we have attached to the program.
Okay, so and if they're a non-Xerox, obviously they wouldn't get a warranty, but they can order XRC supplies through the service, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
And then we actually have a supported products list, so it'll list out all of the products that are currently on the program. So we have that content available on the eConcierge website if you ever need to refer to what devices can be on the program. Any other questions? No? Okay, so with that, Jackie, oh, I'm sorry, was there someone talking?
Yeah, Natasha, Jim Labonte. Is there any restrictions, I guess, with eConcierge with government customers, state, local, federal? Are there issues or concerns related to where the program is today and supporting government and government agencies where they may not want to have monitoring devices inside their network? So
yeah,
is there...
That's a great question, and we currently, and that is the limitation, they don't like having any type of monitoring devices, so we currently don't have a lot of activity with the government for that very reason.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I've got a question for you. In regards to the service aspect of this, if I've got a dealer who currently already services machines, how does that play into eConcierge? In other words, can they still service the machines, and does Xerox pay them for their time, or how does that whole thing work with eConcierge?
That's a great question. For those partners out there who do provide service, they continue to provide service and they continue to get paid by Xerox. So that's an added benefit for those partners because they're able to not only get that post-sale revenue, but also if they get to retain that service revenue as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Natasha, yeah. What about revenue? So if a partner's on the revenue, what can they expect recurring revenue weekly, generally weekly? Do you have a range?
Well, it depends on how many devices and how many customers they have on the program. So the range is all over the place, to be honest. It just depends on, as you know, how often the customer is printing and how many customers and how many devices that they have on the program. So we've got, some of our larger partners are seeing, and I wish I had the slide, but, some of them are averaging, was it like 5 or 10 grand a month in revenue on the program.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've seen that as well. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah,
it's all relative to the size of their customer base and how many devices they have on the program.
Right.
Yeah, the more they have, the more money they make.
Right. It's kind of a recurring hands-off approach, so it's very little work for that reseller.
Correct.
Sorry, I've got one more question for you, Natasha.
Sure.
As far as the supplies order, is it like a fill or kill type of thing where your software looks at partner A's first distributor, and if they have it, they fill that order through them? And then how does, when you're in the number 2 role, is it if the first partner or the first distributor does not have the product, does it then go to number 2?
Yes. So, and it's for the entire order. So if you have an order that comes through and distributor A has all but one part, that order is then passed over to distributor B.
Okay.
So they have to be able to fill the complete order, and if they can't, then it's passed over to the next one.
Okay.
Does it ever happen, Natasha, where no one can fill the order 100%?
Yes.
And what happens in that case?
So at that point, the customer is alerted that the order cannot be fulfilled, and then they are given the option to be notified when that inventory is available, or not be notified and then source it from elsewhere. So if by chance there's a customer out there who tries to place an order through eConcierge and the distributors that they're attached to doesn't have the inventory, we don't want the customer to go down, so they can still go out and source that supply item through another avenue, and then they can just provide that information to the support team, and then we'll make note of that on their account so they don't lose that warranty.
Is it possible that they could go and split the orders to, you know, to the one that has it first, and then send a separate order to the one that has the other items?
So what we don't split orders. So what the customer can do is if they have one line item that's not available, they can just update their order to place everything but the one that's not available, and then go back and try to place that remaining item later. So it will alert them to which supply item is not available.
Oh, okay, great.
Hey, Natasha, what happens if they place an order for Xerox and HP, and Digitek has all the Xerox products but not the HP? Will it automatically go to the next provider?
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't matter the brand if they have to have the complete order, or it'll be passed to the next distributor.
Oh,
Thanks.
Natasha, do you want to go over, you may have already done this, who all is currently participating as far as distributors for Xerox and eConcierge?
Sure. So we've got you, of course. We've got Supplies Network. We've got Cenex, Ingram Micro, and Tech Data.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then for the selection, we allow up to 3 distributors. The partners have to select 2, but they also have the option of selecting a 3rd one.
Now, Natasha, so if somebody selects Digitek and they're not set up for them today, so we get the notification, we let them know that they have to go and register with Digitek. Is there anything that we send to Digitek letting them know, hey, there was a partner trying to sign up for eConcierge and they're not currently registered with you today, so maybe we can be proactive and have Digitek reach out to that customer as well?
Yes. So we do have a process in place. We're working with Jim Hish, so he handles all of our credential requests. So if we have a customer that wants to sign up and they don't have an account set up with Digitek, we do alert him, and I believe he's got his own internal processes within Digitek to go and create an account for that partner. And then once that account is set up, then we can get the credentials to have them set up for their eConcierge store. Any other questions?
And next month is when Xerox will be announcing that Digitek is a partner on eConcierge, is that correct?
Correct. So it's actually October. So we are doing several partner enhancements to the program, and then part of that announcement will include that we have added Digitek as a preferred distributor on the program. So we're looking at an early October release, and so we'll make sure you're in the loop on that, but that's when we're planning on making the announcement to all of the partners currently on the program. And the reason why we delayed that announcement is we wanted to allow Digitek the first month to go out and do their own recruitment efforts to add new partners to the program before we made a huge announcement and then had partners out there making switches. So we want to see what we can do with Digitek to grow, to get some net new adds to the program before making the larger communication out. I feel like every time I ask, are there any more? As soon as I say, okay, I think we're done, someone asks a question. So I'll wait one more time for another question to come through.
Well, do you have any questions that are normally asked that maybe we haven't asked? Natasha?
No, I'm sitting here looking at Christina. She's also saying no. I think there are some good questions that came up. So, yeah, I think so. And if by chance there is something that comes up that you think of later on, you're always welcome to contact me, and I can answer that as best I can.
Right. And for everyone on the line, I am recording this training session, so we'll have it as a reference point for later on as well.
Hey, Natasha, can you talk through kind of like the process when a service technician goes out to service the machine and they find like a third-party cartridge out there that obviously wasn't ordered through the program? I know you mentioned how we do it when we monitored it, but what about if they kind of snuck another cartridge in there that wasn't a Xerox cartridge and it caused the reason for the service call?
Well, that's outside my realm. I don't know what happens in that case. Yeah, that wouldn't be attached to the program, Mark. So the only time we're doing any type of monitoring of non-Xerox purchase supplies is just looking at what they purchased through the program and the supply that they installed. Outside of that, we don't really get involved with that.
Okay. So the service technicians isn't reporting anything back on their findings or anything like that?
No. Nope. Okay. I think I'm going to call that one the last question, especially since I couldn't have a good answer for it. So, so I appreciate the time. And as I mentioned, if there are any other questions that come up, please feel free to reach out, and I'll get that information over to you.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Appreciate it. And the next session's at noon, right, Natasha?
That's correct.
15 minutes. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Jackie. You may already know that Digitek just recently went live as a preferred distributor on our eConcierge program effective this past Monday. We're very excited to have Digitek on board. The eConcierge program has been a great program for Xerox. It's been growing year over year, and we're excited to see even more growth with Digitek now part of the team. So I'm going to jump right into the content. My desire is just to give you all an overview of the eConcierge program, what it means to the partners out there, and then also to their customers, and then how you all will be involved as a company supporting the program. So the first is, what is eConcierge? How do I get rid of this thing? So eConcierge is a supplies monitoring service. It's an application that customers download onto their PCs that goes out and discovers all of the Xerox and non-Xerox devices that we have qualified for the program, and then monitors those devices, and then will alert the customers when their supply items are reaching a low status, triggering them to go out and place an order for those supply items to make sure that their devices remain up and running and supplies don't run out. An added benefit of being on the eConcierge program is customers are earning free lifetime coverage on the devices that they have on the program. This is only for the Xerox devices that they have on the program. So once a device is signed up for eConcierge for 30 days and they purchase 2 supply items for that device, they then trigger their free service entitlement. So that's one of the key benefits that we do like to publicize about the program. Not only is it an easy supplies replenishment service, but it also allows customers to earn free service for their Xerox devices. When looking at the program from our perspective, it's a program that evolved back in 2011 is when we first started the program, and it stemmed from partner and customer feedback. We learned that partners were needing a way to generate that post-sale revenue with the devices that they place without putting a lot of time and effort into it. And then from a customer perspective, they wanted an easy way to manage the supplies replenishment, not only for their Xerox devices, but for all the devices that they manage at a low cost and without having to put a lot of effort into that as well. So that's how we came up with the eConcierge program. It's a key customer loyalty and retention program for Xerox. The free service out there ensures that customers are keeping our devices, and then when they're needing to replace devices, they're going out and purchasing additional Xerox devices because they are able to keep that free service by being a part of the eConcierge program. It's an alternative to customers signing up for a managed print service contract. So there are a lot of customers out there who just really aren't ready to sign up for a contract, but this still allows them to have a way to manage their print and their supply levels without signing up for a contract. And it's very easy to use for both the partners that are tied to eConcierge and also their customers. When looking at the benefits of eConcierge, from the partner perspective, it's easy revenue generation. So the partners will open up an e-commerce store that they will then be able to attach all of their customers to. So that makes sure that allows them to ensure that they are capturing all of the post-sale revenue for their customers and that they're not going out and purchasing their supplies elsewhere. The ability to earn that free lifetime service for the Xerox devices helps them sell more Xerox printers. Partners are able to expand their reach because, as I mentioned, we have Xerox and non-Xerox devices qualified for the program. The non-Xerox brands that are on the program are Brother, HP, Lexmark, and Samsung. And through the program, we offer customers the ability to purchase XRCs, so Xerox replacement cartridges, which of course are at a lower cost than what they would purchase for the OEM supplies. So that allows the partners out there to expand their reach from that aspect. The partners are able to capture their customer loyalty by providing the service that's free. It'll save their customers time, it'll save them money, and then they get that free service. So they're more likely to stay attached to their partner with that service. And then also from the partner's perspective, they're able to minimize the cost and time associated to managing their own inventory. The program is set up so that all purchases are flowed directly from when the customer places their order in their online store directly to the distributor. So you all will be fulfilling the orders directly to the end user, so the partner no longer has to place the orders and sometimes maintain that inventory to get it to their customers. So it goes directly from you all to their customers. From the end user customer perspective, it's easy supplies replenishment. So once they are on the program, we have a system that will monitor the supply usage, and when that supply item is low, they will be notified that they need to place the order, and it'll send them directly to where they need to go to place that order. And then just by being a part of the program, they are able to have that free lifetime coverage for all of the Xerox devices that they have in the program. So it's a win-win for both the partner and all of their customers that are on the program. So I wanted to cover who we believe the ideal partner is for this program, and then also the end user. From the partner perspective, it's pretty straightforward. If they sell A4 supplies and hardware, then we want them on the program. As I mentioned, this is a great benefit to add as far as the service that they provide to their customers. So if they're looking at ways to aid their customers and provide additional service, they're able to do that. And then also if they're looking for ways to generate that post-sale revenue without putting a lot of time and energy into that, this is a great service for them. When looking at their customer base, this is targeted for our small to medium business owners. They cannot be tied to a managed print contract for the devices that they have. So if they have devices out there that are not currently signed up on contract, then they are able to participate on the program. And if they're just looking for ways to simplify their order replenishment processes, this is a great service for them. I wanted to mention before I move forward, if anyone has any questions, feel free stop me to address that before I move forward, just so it's more timely and we can get some discussion going. This next slide here will walk you through what is required of the partners to get set up with eConcierge. So we do have a 4-step process, which we refer to as our onboarding process. So once you get a partner who is interested in signing up for eConcierge, we can direct them to our partner portal, where they can then go and register for the program. Once they are registered, it's pretty simple. They enter their name and their contact information. It'll trigger an email that is sent over to them with the remaining steps for signing up for eConcierge. The next step that they would have to do is create a merchant bank account. So this is only required if the partners choose to offer credit card purchases as part of their store environment. We currently have 2 ways to process orders through eConcierge. We can do credit card purchases, or the customers, if they're set up on open account terms with their partners, so if they're accustomed to using purchase orders to make their purchases, they are able to do that, and we refer to that as open terms. So if the partner chooses to offer the credit card terms, they are required to open up a merchant account to manage the transactions. And this right here, I do want to note that there is a cost associated to this part of the process in managing the eConcierge store. It's very common. It's required with any type of e-commerce dealing. So the partner will pay a monthly fee for having the service. And then also with any credit card transaction, they will have to pay a 2.19% fee for any transaction that goes across. So that's very standard, and any e-commerce environment has these same requirements. Once they make the determination if they're going to have that credit card set up or not, the next step for them to do is to establish which distributor they would like their orders to flow through. So to open up their store, the partners are required to have 2 distributors selected. We currently have 5 distributors on the program. We've got Digitek, yourselves. We've got Cenex, Supplies Network, Tech Data, and Ingram Micro. So those are the 5 distributors that the partners can choose. They must choose 2 and can have up to 3 distributors selected. If by chance we have a partner out there that does not have an account set up with one of the distributors, we do have processes in place with each of the distributors to go out and create an account so that they can have their eConcierge credentials to set up their store. And then once they have their distributors selected and those accounts set up, we have a dedicated support team that will then work with the partner to go through and actually open up their e-commerce store. It takes about an hour worth of time, and we have the support team that pretty much does all the work. We do a remote access with the partner and set up their store for them, and after the call is done, their store is open and then they're ready to go out and add customers to their store. The one thing I do want to call out is in order for any partner to participate in the eConcierge program, they have to be a registered Xerox partner and part of the Global Partner Program. So as you're out recruiting new partners, and if you have someone who's not set up in the Xerox Partner Program, this little link here will lead you to the link that you can provide them to go and register to be a part of the program. And it's got all the information that they need there. But that is a key stipulation, is in order for anyone to participate in eConcierge, they have to be a Global Partner Program member. Any questions on the partner onboarding? Okay. So
Natasha,
yeah.
Real quick question. How long does it normally take for a partner to onboard from start to finish if everything goes well?
So if everything goes well, the time-consuming part would be, it probably takes a couple days to go through and complete the merchant account, because there is an approval process, and it takes the company a day or 2 to come back and let you know whether or not you're qualified for that. And then as far as getting the credentials, we have usually 1 to 2 day turnaround for the distributors to return the credentials back to us. And if by chance they do not have an account set up with the distributor, that may take a little bit longer. But the whole process from step 1 to 3 is usually completed in the first 3 to 4 days. The next step right here, 4, where we actually sit on the call and open up the store, is really dependent on the partner availability. From a time perspective, it takes about an hour to go through the process. However, we have to be able to coordinate a time with the partner to set up the meeting. So if the partner is available the next day, we can get them on calendar. So it really just depends on scheduling. But the actual time associated with all of this from the partner's perspective is probably, 5 hours, but it does take time to get the content back and forth. So usually we can, if all things are set up correctly, we can have a partner completely onboarded within a week.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So wanted to give you all a little snapshot of what it looks like from the store perspective when the partner completes their onboarding process. So this right here is what the partners will have to manage their eConcierge business. So we call it the eConcierge Partner Portal. It allows them to come in and look at all of the customers that they have on the program. It gives them their revenue trends, lets them know how much they've generated in their store. It gives them access to any type of order alerts that they need to take action on. They have the ability, so the key thing I want to note is when the customers are shopping through their store, it is branded with their brand. So in their preferences in this partner portal, they have the ability to set up the look and feel of their store and to input their own company logo. They have reports available to look at the status of their customers, their orders, and then the devices that they have on the program. And then another key thing here is they're able to look at all of the devices that are attached to their store and have a feel for which devices have earned their service warranty and which ones haven't. So this portal is available for them to access anytime, anywhere, and they have full control of their entire business through this partner portal. Another key thing I do want to mention is they have customer account access, and that's right here in this little tab. The key thing here is that the partners have the ability, once they have identified a customer that wants to be a part of their eConcierge service, they have the ability to initiate the customer account setup in this customers tab, and all they have to do is put in the customer user ID name that they can create and their email address, and then it'll then send an email over to their customer with the remaining steps of getting their account set up. So in talking about the end user customer requirements, I want to walk through what the experience looks like for the end user. So as I mentioned, the partners can go in and initiate setting up an account for their customers. Once that's done, the customers receive an email that requires them to go in, log in, change their password, and then download the Supplies Assistant. So this is the application that will be running in the background on the customer's PC. They download that application, and then it requires them to go out and discover all of the devices that they have on their network. So the customer can then select which devices they choose to participate on the eConcierge program. Once that's done, the application will then monitor all those devices and track when a supply item needs to be purchased. When that happens, they will be notified that they need to make a purchase. And then the main requirement for the customer is once they're on the program that they only install supply items that have been purchased through eConcierge. That is how they maintain their free service coverage for those Xerox devices. If the program notices that the customer has installed a supply item that was not purchased through eConcierge, they will be alerted that they are in jeopardy of losing their free service entitlement. So it's pretty easy to get the customer set up and onboarded, but the key thing is that once they are on the program, if they choose to maintain the free service for those devices that they have on the program, they must purchase and install only the supplies that they receive through eConcierge. So this right here is what the Supplies Assistant application looks like. This is what they will be requested to download to go out and find those devices on their network. Once the customers have discovered and identified which devices they want on the eConcierge program, they really have no reason to go back and use the supplies assistant. It'll run in the background. The only other time that they would need to go back and address anything on the supplies assistant is if they choose to add additional devices on the program or remove devices from the program. Once that part is done, the main interface for the end user is going to be through the eConcierge customer portal. So similar to the partner portal for eConcierge, they have the ability to manage their entire account. They'll have a dashboard looking at all of the devices that they have on the program. It alerts them whether or not they need to place an order, if toner is empty, if it's low, or if the toner is okay. And it's not just toner, it's any supply item that's used for those devices. They have the ability to go and manage their account. They can add different users onto the account. They can place orders through their portal. And then also they have the ability to look at and monitor the warranty status for all of the devices that they have in the program. This slide here talks through just the order fulfillment process. So as I mentioned, they have the supplies assistant that's running in the background, and the service will send them an email notification when a supply item is running low. Once the customer gets that alert, there's a link that's in that email that'll send them directly to their partner's e-commerce store. So it's their eConcierge store. They place the order there. The shopping cart is going to be pre-populated with all the items that they need to order. Once they place that order, the order is passed through the eConcierge server and sent over to the distributor. So once Digitek gets that order, they then fulfill that order directly to the customer. So the customer places the order and the system passes it over to the distributor, and then the distributor fulfills that order directly to the end user customer. So there's very little work involved with the reseller. Once they get their store open, everything is happening in the background for them. From a revenue perspective, I mentioned that there are two ways for customers to place orders. So for those customers that are using their credit card to place an order, the partner is paid immediately as soon as that order is placed. For those customers that are set up on those open terms, once the customer places the order, the reseller will then have to invoice that customer for payment. So that all will be taking place. And when you look at the payment with the distributor, the payment terms remain the same with the partner and the distributor. So whatever terms that are in place, that will remain in effect regardless of how they choose to receive payment from their customer. Any questions on the order fulfillment or the revenue process that we have in place?
I have one. Sure. How does the distributor get the order?
So the order is passed through systematically through the eConcierge server. So over the last few months, we've been working with the development team over at Digitek to make sure we have all the interfaces in place to support the orders being passed from the reseller through our system over to the distributor. So we've got, so we've got all the interfaces in place to pass those orders through appropriately.
Does it come through an email, or somebody on our end is manning it?
So it's a feed, it's a file that's just sent over with an order. So it's not a manual process, and to be honest, I don't understand all the technical aspects of how those orders are being passed through, but it's not done through an email. It systematically will flow through and be placed like any other order that's going through Digitek.
Right, back office.
So if the resellers are selecting two distributors, how does the system know which distributor to send the order to?
That's a great question. So the way the orders go through, so when the customer places the order, the partner has selected which is, so they rank the distributors. So if a partner sets up Digitek as their first distributor, any order that's placed by their customers will first be passed over to Digitek. It'll look at all the line items on that order and let us know whether or not Digitek has all of the inventory available to fulfill that order. If they have the ability to fulfill that order, then Digitek will fulfill the order. If by chance Digitek is missing one of the line items, then that order will be passed over to the second distributor that the partner has set up, and then they will fulfill that order provided they have all the inventory available.
And if they don't, it'll come back to us?
So nope, it will not come back to you. So if by chance the distributors that the partner has selected for that store, neither of the distributors have the amount of inventory that's needed to fulfill the order, the customer will be alerted that the order, the availability isn't there, and they will be asked if they would like to be alerted when the inventory is available, and then they can go and replace that order. So we don't have the ability to split any orders. So if it comes up where the first distributor has, all but one part, they have to fulfill the complete order to get the order. We don't do any splitting of the orders between the distributors. Any other questions on the order process?
Yeah, just to continue on that. So you're saying if neither distributor has stock, then does the order stay in our system and we bring in stock, or what? Or it just gets canceled basically? It never actually gets placed? Because I'm just thinking, how do we find out that we lost an order because we didn't have stock?
So the order is never put on hold for the customer, because what we don't want to do is the customer to believe that it's being placed and they run out of supplies. So the order, if it can't be fulfilled, the customer is alerted and the order is never placed. We do have reports available that we share with the distributors if they ever want to see how many orders were passed to another distributor because they weren't able to fulfill it.
Got it.
So that is, sorry, go ahead.
Is this for the reseller to replace, or will it alert them when we have the stock, or how to?
So so the customer is the one placing the order through the online store. So if the inventory is not available, the customer is asked if they want to be alerted when the inventory is available. And then once that inventory is available, the customer will receive an email letting them know that they can place the order. And if the customer chooses not to be alerted, then they are able to then go and work with their partner to figure out how to source that order elsewhere. And if by chance, because I mentioned before, the system is monitoring when an order has been placed through eConcierge and tying that back to what supplies are installed into the device. If we ever run into a stock out issue where none of the distributors are able to fulfill the order, the customer is able to fulfill that order elsewhere and then work with our support team to make sure that that is accounted for in their account so they don't risk losing their warranty for that device.
And also, when that order is rejected too, so if there's 5 SKUs on there and there's 2 of them that you guys don't have and somebody else doesn't have it either, they can replace that order for the 3 that are in stock and then obviously source the other 2.
Correct. So the next slide, I wanted to share some tips that we receive feedback on from partners that are currently on the program. And these are notes that have come back repetitively, so we figured they must be working, and we wanted to make sure that we're sharing that with new partners as we're having discussions with them about joining the program. So the first thing I like to highlight is it's encouraged that partners install the supplies assistant and get their customers' accounts set up when they're demoing and installing their printers. So when they have a printer install, we're asking them to go ahead and set up the customer's eConcierge account and demo how the program works so that when they leave that install, they know that that customer is set up and they are attached to their eConcierge store, and they know that any purchase that the customer makes is going to be directed to their store environment, so they capture that revenue. Another thing is customers have the ability to set up their own account. If a customer is out and wants to know more about eConcierge, we do have a lot of content on the Xerox site on eConcierge, but we recommend that the partners initiate setting up the account for their customers through their partner portal experience. That is one way to ensure that those customers are truly attached to that store. If the partners leave it up for the customers to go out and set up their account, through their process, they're able to go out and select the provider they choose to work with, and there's an opportunity that they may not select them. So if they want to make sure that they have their customer attached to their store, they should initiate setting up that customer account. And also it's important that partners explain to their customers that this is not only for Xerox devices. The program supports the non-Xerox devices, so they're able to monitor and fulfill the orders for those supply items. But the key thing is, from the service entitlement standpoint, we only offer the free service for the Xerox devices. We don't offer the free service for the non-Xerox devices. And we'll be sending out the slide deck so you can look at some of the other things a little closer. The next thing I want to mention is we have a lot of marketing collateral and tools out there to help the partners market the program to their customers. There's a lot of co-branded material, so the partners can go in and customize the look and feel of the content that they're sharing with their customers. We've got videos, we've got email templates, we've got presentations, and a ton of brochures that explain the program in detail and talk about frequently asked questions. So we've got a lot of content around the program that is available to aid the partners out there to grow their eConcierge business. One of the things that I think is really cool that actually helps explain the program are some of the videos that we have developed. I would like to take a little bit of time to show you one of the videos that is available that gives a little bit more detail about the eConcierge program and how it works. So I will show that right now.
Okay, the last thing I want to worry about is buying toner for our printers. But it's up to me to make sure we don't run out and everyone in the office can print when they need to. Now my job is easier, thanks to this new free service, Xerox eConcierge. It monitors all the printers on my network, tells me before supplies run out, and lets me order new ones in just a few clicks. It even picks the right cartridges for each printer model, no matter what the brand, so I don't need to worry about confusing part numbers. And on top of being easier, I get rewards just for buying my supplies. Oh, and hey, this is really fun. I can give my printers nicknames that show up on alerts or when I track my orders. So it's a lot easier for me to remember where all the supplies go. But let's talk about, what really matters. Who's going to make sure things don't break down when I leave on my vacation? Turns out, it's not a problem. Even though I run the service from my desktop, the information is stored in the cloud, so really anyone in the company can install it and keep things running smoothly. And because it's from Xerox, I know, and more importantly, my bosses know, that everything is secure. Listen, I've been doing this for a long time, and you won't find an easier way to take care of your printers. Give it a try. There's no commitment. Just see if you like having your own personal supplies assistant.
So that is one of the few videos that we have that gives a little detail around the eConcierge program. We have a few more. When we send this presentation out, there's links for each of the videos here that you can take a look at.
The last thing I want to worry about is buying toner for our printers. But it's up to me to make sure we don't run out and everyone in the office can print when they need to. Now my job is easier, thanks to this new free service, Xerox eConcierge.
Sorry about that. I'll close it out. So let me go back to where I was. So sorry about that. So as I was trying to mention, we do have a lot of videos, and so when we send this out, you'll be able to click on the different videos. It talks about how they earn the free service and how the actual supplies ordering works, and some of the advanced features tied to the program. So these videos are available to both you all, the partners, and then the partners can then share that with their customers to help explain a little bit more about the program. I wanted to cover some incentives that we currently have tied to the eConcierge program. The first one is relevant for you all. So while I mentioned we went live with Digitek on the program on Monday, we're actually not announcing it to the partner base that we have on the program until October 5th. So the reason is we wanted to give Digitek an opportunity to go out and educate their partners about the program and hopefully do some recruiting efforts to get them signed up. So we do have an incentive in place currently. So for every partner that you get signed up for the program and get them to open up an eConcierge store, we're giving a $25 gift card for that. So every new partner that you get on the program, we're offering that gift card to you. And then that'll run between September 10th and the 30th. And that time frame is on the 10th is when we're actually going to have a partner webinar where we go out and explain the program. Digitek will be hosting that webinar, and then I will be presenting the content to share with your partners a little bit more about eConcierge program and the benefits. And then we want to run that through the end of the month until we do the actual Xerox announcement of Digitek being on the program. There are also some incentives in place for the partners that are on the program. So every quarter we're running different spiffs for hardware. So when they're placing these hardware items, there is a $25 spiff for each device, provided that they get that device signed up for eConcierge. So every quarter we're updating the products that the spiff is tied to. This link here will give partners the list of the most recent spiffs, but I just wanted to call out here this is what we currently have in place for Q3. But whenever they want to go and get the current content, they can just click this link and it'll send them to the updated content for the quarter. In addition to that, we have a rebate that's in place. So it's a 4% back-end rebate that's available for all of our gold and platinum level partners. So what this means is whenever they get a new device added to their eConcierge store, every supply item that's purchased for that device, for the first year it's on the program, they will receive a 4% back-end rebate for those purchases. So that's a pretty cool opportunity. We have a lot of partners that are taking advantage of that. So, and that goes on as long as they have their store open. Any new device that they add on the program, they earn that 4% rebate for those supplies sold for that device. And I just want to call out one more time that this program is only available for partners who are signed up and registered Global Partner Program participants. And then if you need more information on how to get them signed up, they can access that here with this link.
What about partners that are already signed up with eConcierge and they want to add Digitek? Can they just go onto their partner portal and say add Digitek and make them #1 or make them #2?
Yeah. So if a partner already has a store available and they choose to add Digitek, and all they have to do is go in, Digitek is now available for them to select.
Okay.
And then once they select that as their distributor, they'll work with our support team to go and get those credentials to get them set up, and then Digitek will be added as one of their distributors. So we actually already have a few partners that have already added Digitek as one of their preferred distributors. So that process has been vetted out and it works perfectly. So we're already ready to start having partners add Digitek.
Okay.
Is the 4% rebate only on Xerox stuff? What if they sign up like a Brother printer or something? Do they get a 4% rebate on the supplies for Brother too, or just Xerox supplies?
That is a good question. You know what? I always just assume it was only Xerox. So that's how I'm inclined to answer. I believe it's only on the Xerox supplies that they're selling. But I will follow up on that to make sure I'm communicating that correctly. So Jackie, I'll pass that answer over to you.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Is the lifetime service, is that provided by the reseller, or is that a Xerox? Is that provided by Xerox?
It's provided by whoever the customer is currently working for. So it could be done by the reseller. So we've got some service providers out there. So if they are signed up for the program, they're able to provide that service the way they currently do. Or if they work directly with Xerox, then they can get their service that way as well.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So actually, I'm on the last slide. So this is the last thing I wanted to share with you all, and that's around our customer support. So we do have a dedicated eConcierge support team. They're available to help anyone with any questions they have around the program, whether it's helping out with getting the partners set up to open their store, or once the partners have their store open, if they have questions on how to use some of the functionality or change some of their settings. That team is there to support them. We assist with customer installations, whether there's a hardware issue or a software issue, the team is able to troubleshoot and help customer out with that. If there are any order fulfillment issues or any technical concerns around the program, that is the first point of contact, and they usually do a pretty good job of getting everything resolved for the customers and the partners. And then they can be reached by phone, and then we also have an email address if people prefer to work via email. So that is the content around the program that I wanted to share. And at this point, I would like to open it up for any additional questions you all may have around the program.
I have a quick question. I just need to clarify this because I think I might have misunderstood. So if somebody signs up like a brother printer, it's not gonna come and say you want to purchase OEM brother products. It's gonna say you're gonna purchase XRC brother products, right?
You have the ability to purchase both. So the customer is able to select whether they want the XRC or the OEM.
I believe it displays, though, the XRC first and then the OEM.
Correct. So the XRC is listed first. The XRC is what we prefer them purchase, so that is listed first. But the customer, at the end of the day, has the ability to select it.
Wow, cool.
I have a question regarding the service aspect.
Yes.
I don't know if you covered this in that last slide. Who provides the service? Who goes out?
So the service is handled the way the service, there's no special eConcierge service, so it's the existing break-fix service that we currently have in place. So if the customer chooses to use the provider that they have, so if they're working with a provider that also offers the service, they're a service provider, then they can work with that provider for that, or if they want to contact Xerox directly for service, then they're able to do that as well. And then the service covers the parts and the labor.
Okay. So then if it's a servicing dealer who's providing the eConcierge service, then they get reimbursed by Xerox because it's supposed to be free service, right? For Xerox devices?
So however they're getting paid, so the free service aspect is for the customer, and if the service provider, the provider that they're working with does a service, they get paid the same way they get paid now. So there's no special payment tied to the service for eConcierge. It's just that we're giving them the free service, and the service aspect is handled the exact same way it currently handles today. So they will be paid as they currently are.
I'm still not clear about, so if the reseller is currently providing the service, and if the customer chooses that, yeah, we still want the same, the person to come out and fix our machine, then that wouldn't be free for the reseller, though, right? It would be for. I'm still not clear as to how it's how the reseller gets. Like, what's in it for them? If it's free service for the customer, what's in it for them?
For the reseller will still be paid by Xerox.
Okay, yeah, that's what okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't understand that part. Okay, so they'll still get paid. Okay, got it.
Yeah, the reseller gets paid, but the customer doesn't pay for it.
Right. So the reseller still gets that service revenue.
Got it. Okay, so that was that question. So And so if it's not a servicing dealer, then the end user would then contact Xerox, and then Xerox would send somebody out. Is that how it works? Because I have some customers who are not going to be able to go out and fix machines. They just know how to sell toner and machines, but not necessarily able to fix them.
Right. So the customer would then call the service number hotline to get, and then Xerox will send someone out.
Okay, got it. One last question for me. Any new people that sign up, during the sign-up process, are they given some sort of quota or some sort of expectation that Xerox has from them in terms of selling equipment and supplies or signing on X number of customers on a quarterly basis?
No, so there are no expectations as far as commitment levels from the partners. I mean, we encourage them to add as many customers and devices onto the program because that means that's more revenue for them and more for Xerox and everyone else involved in the program. But there are no quotas set for the partners.
Is there a cost associated for the dealer to start a sign-up with eConcierge?
No, so the service is free. So the only cost associated for the eConcierge program is around setting up the e-commerce merchant environment. So that's just around getting their store set up to process credit cards, and then the transactional fee for their customers using each credit card transaction. Outside of that, there is no payment to Xerox to be a part of the program. It's free for the partners, and it's also free for the end users.
And I'd like to add, Xerox has a great marketing tool for that reseller to use to market to their end users. So everything is kind of canned templates as far as the storefront and email blast. Is that right, Natasha?
That's correct.
So I make it easy, easy smeezy.
Yep.
I just have one last question from our questionable place over here in the West. But what are we doing internally, Jackie? Like, if we go right now and go to our desk and call 10 people and they want to sign up, what internally, where are we sending these guys? Internally at Digitek.
Well, it's going to go externally out. So on Monday, I'm planning to have an email go out to all of our customer base advertising it and what they need to do. So it's all on them, all on the reseller, you know, if they're not currently a Xerox Peak reseller, to go get signed up and then to go take those next steps. It's all on that reseller to make those actions. All we have to do is beat the waters and drive them in.
Okay, cool.
Hey, Jackie, is there anything in our system that can we differentiate between an order that came through eConcierge versus just a regular order?
I believe the order numbering starts with an EC, and isn't it like 10 digits? And this is, you know, going back to my prior life of remembering.
Yeah, I don't know how many digits are in them, but they definitely start with EC.
Gotcha. So there's a little something in there that indicates, because I think PC Technology should be placing an order pretty soon off of that. So I'm just curious to see what it looks like.
Yeah, and it's all back office, so we should not have to touch anything. So this should be easy for absolutely everybody in the company, right?
Score.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had one more question.
You're not over your limit, Nikki, at all.
I know, I'm sorry. How many
You're all good.
How many partners do you guys currently have on this program, on the eConcierge program? Not distributors, but resellers.
So we currently have, and I'll tell you how many stores. We've got about 570 stores open on the program. So that's how many different partners we have.
Wow, that's hot. Nice.
It's very hot, and so that's why we're trying to get it even hotter with adding more folks on there. It's, like I said, it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't require a lot of time, and it's, you know, they're earning that revenue with doing very little work. So it's kind of a no-brainer, we like to believe. It's just a matter of conveying that message over to the partners and then having the partners then share that with their customer base.
I like the fact that it tells them if the customer placed an order and it wasn't via eConcierge, because maybe that means that customer placed the order with another reseller, right? So you could tell them where they have a little bit of a gap or a bleeding problem with that reseller or that customer. questions. I am recording this session as well, folks, so we can always go back and review as needed.
I want to understand, Xerox has their own MPS program too, right? Page Pack, is that what it's called?
Yes, that's correct. Page Connect.
You're saying this can't, like, they can't have Page Pack for that end user and eConcierge, right? It can be one or the other.
That's correct. You can't have a device on both programs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I'm just trying to understand, like, the difference of, like, ease of use or what applies where. Like, is this eConcierge maybe more for people not as big companies, maybe not as many devices, things like that, or you know, why is this better than? Why would Xerox want people to sign up for eConcierge compared to Page Pack?
So first, not all customers are going to be willing to sign up for a managed print contract. So we don't have all the customers sign up on managed print, and quite frankly, there's more revenue tied to toner out situations, and so you know, we want to be able to provide a service for those customers out there who don't want a contract. And this is a quick and easy way to do it. So we make their, you know, it's a low-level managed print because we're managing really their supply usage and making sure that they keep all the supplies that they need to keep going without them having to make any long-term commitment. So, and then it guarantees we're capturing that revenue, right, because it's flowing through our distribution and our channel.
Good point. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? All right, so I think this concludes our second session of Xerox eConcierge training. As Natasha said, we will have one for the resellers on September 10th. You guys will be made aware of that as well. This will kind of just, again, go out to all of our partners. So help get those resellers a little more sticky with Digitek. Thank you again for all your time.
Thanks, Jackie.
Thanks, guys. Good presentation, Natasha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha.